Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Saturday Evening Post year in review. We are here at Metazoa Brewing to recap everything that happened in 2018 at the Saturday Evening Post. My name is Chris Wakefield. I am the marketing manager for the Saturday Evening Post.
I'm Nick Gilmore. I'm a staff writer at the Post.
I'm Troy Brownfield, also a staff writer.
2018 was a big year for us here at the Post, and I guess we're not going to recap everything that happened. Like January 1, Nick showed up to work. What'd you do? We're not going to go that in depth, but a lot of big things happened for us here at the Post, including the creation of this show, The Week in Review. Our online archives are now online. That's something that happened in the second half of this year, and for only $15, you can access those archives. $15 a year gets you unlimited access to our online archives, over 200 years of Saturday Evening Post history, all right there in the archives. That $15 also gets you a 1-year subscription to our print magazine, 6 new issues of our magazine in your email inbox or in your regular mailbox every single year, exclusive member benefits, and a lot more. Again, all that happening here in 2018. I want to talk about some of our favorite stories that we posted online in 2018. Nick, we'll start with you. What piece did you put out this year really that stuck out to you, that you're proud of?
I had a retrospective called The People Machine, A History of Elections and Algorithms. So that looked at a computer that was developed in 1960 that they used for Kennedy's campaign it had a pretty simple algorithm to decide whether or not people would be inclined to vote for him based on different issues. One of them was whether or not they would be inclined to not vote for him because of his Catholicism. And so this is, it was a powerful piece of machinery for the time, and it had a powerful algorithm for 1960, but it was, for these days, relatively weak. It's based on, maybe a few hundred to 1,000 surveys of voters. That was all plugged into this algorithm. So I looked at that in this article from earlier this year, looked at that in comparison to the Cambridge Analytica scandal.
Right.
That obviously used, I think over 80 million Facebook profiles, very detailed information on a lot of people. So it's kind of a history of, how those kinds of computer programs and algorithms can be kind of innocuous and helpful to, criminal.
That's one of the things that we do best here, Troy, at the Post, is that we're not strictly a current news or current events news outlet or news agency, but we take a look back in history. Since we've been around for 200 years, we can look back in history and see how the past affected the present and possibly the future.
So this article that I was looking back on from 1968 was called The Flip-Flop Machines, and it was one of the best articles I've ever read in the Saturday Evening Post. It was kind of on the cutting edge of computers and kind of explaining in layman's terms how computers could work, what they would do, and it made a lot of really good predictions.
We're really fortunate to have the archive that we have to do that type of thing.
Yeah, and it is interesting to go back, especially when you're looking at doing a story that might have some relevance to things that happen or touch directly on stuff. And not one of the ones I'm going to talk about, but just for example, I've written some NASA stories this year. And the Post extensively covered the space program for many years. And so there was always something for me to go back and look at for NASA-related items.
One other piece Nick did, we're going to congratulate Nick. The first and only time this will happen, Nick had the top article on our website, SaturdayEveningPost.com, of the entire year of 2018. And it was probably the most serious topic we talked about all year.
It was groundbreaking.
Very groundbreaking. You did an article about the first ever, what we named cat meme photographer.
Yes. Heavy stuff.
Very heavy stuff.
It was Harry Whittier Fries in the early 1900s. I know we've talked about it on this video before, but he photographed cats in sort of strange poses. We had a lot of these photographs from Harry Whittier Fries. He had quite a few books and he published in quite a few magazines, but we had a lot from our magazines, specifically Child Life, that had really never been seen before besides, the original subscribers of Child Life in 1937. So we kind of dug those out, and thanks to Dave Pell of Next Draft, the Next Draft newsletter, that got seen by quite a few people. So
What is it about that piece you think that made it so viral? This was really a viral piece.
I think that it was, well, we told the story of Harry Whittier Freeze, which is an interesting story. He had kind of a tragic end of his life, but a very prolific photographer. But also, I think it was that those photographs that we had that really no one else had access to.
Some really compelling images of these young kittens, which I mean they're adorable, but kind of sad
It
at the
toes
same
the
time.
line of adorable and disturbing.
Yes, exactly.
In a very visceral way. So.
If you want to see that piece, you can go over to SaturdayEveningPost.com, click on the little search bar, put in cat memes, and you will see Nick's piece, the top piece for the entire year, on our website. Troy, you joined the Post in July?
June.
In June. So Troy's been here since June. Another great edition in 2018. Since then, you've been writing about, I think we looked it up in the status, 16 articles a day, every day since you've joined since June. Of those 16 million pieces, what's been your favorite piece so far?
Well, I have a couple, but I really enjoyed, in retrospect, doing the piece on the recession. 2008 was the Great Recession, and so I did a piece on that for the website, but it was part of a larger project where I did 3 pieces that are in the current magazine,
The print
January
issue. You can see those pieces in the print issue.
Yeah, January, February issue, along with a 4th story that we have that's kind of a personal view of it. But really, it's something that I experienced at the time. I was teaching and I was doing other things, so I was kind of watching it on the news. And going back and kind of digging into it and looking at all the consequences and things where you don't always examine the stuff that's going on around you if you're not involved in it.
Right.
And then going back and looking at it and seeing how, it spun off all these things. The Tea Party movement, the Occupy movement, all these things related directly to it. Lehman Brothers having the, biggest bankruptcy in history after being the 4th largest lending institution. There are all these really significant things that happened. And, but, since that, we came out of the woods and the economy's fine and it's never ever going to happen again.
How's the Dow doing today?
Yeah.
I'm glad for that.
I can't even keep a straight face.
And we know that markets tend to be, sorry podcast listeners, our microphone keeps falling. We tend to know that markets
All 5 of you.
tend to be very cyclical, and things happen in waves and bull and bear markets. So again, Troy's piece is over on the website at SaturdayEveningPost.com and in the print magazine if you subscribe. Troy, talk to us about more pieces you've done this year that kind of stuck out to you.
Really enjoyed doing the horror films based on real life events story. We shot a companion piece for that was fun to do, but being a big horror fan that I am, and it gave it a little bit of an angle to me doing a film thing with also doing the history bit that we talk about. A couple of things were local to Indiana, so that's always interesting when we're able to actually kind of employ our real physical surroundings.
God forbid.
So, it's just one of those kind of interesting things to get into. And shooting the video was a lot of fun. So if you are interested in that, if you are a subscriber and so forth, look up that video on real life horror stories.
Really great. Where you draw connections between these horror movies that have just as awfully terrible real stories behind them.
Right. The Strangers is a big one that always sticks out in my head because
That was real.
it's based on, in part, a group of murders that happened at a particular vacation cabin, and also based on a couple of other real life things. But one of the things that I find scariest about The Strangers is how incredibly plausible it is.
Yeah.
It's just it is something that absolutely could happen, as opposed to, not that I don't enjoy the exorcism movies and all the other things that are in the piece, but like something like that is really the most scary because it's just about what people are willing to do to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, let's end the year on a happy note, shall we? And not being murdered in your home while on vacation. Usually at this point in time each week, we do a segment called Don't At Me, which can be a little bit negative. It's our chance every week to vent and get some frustration out. But we're going to talk about our resolutions, professional or personal, for 2019. What do you want to accomplish next year, Troy?
oh, that's a good question. you know, when it comes to resolutions, I've never been a big resolution maker. I would usually joke that I want to resolve to end annoying traditions. But
Welcome to the post.
like making resolutions. But no, I think that as far as professional stuff, I'd like to do more stuff for the magazine. I think we all would, because we all spend a lot of time doing things on the website and so forth. And Nick does a lot of contrarian pieces for the magazine. I'd like to do a couple more big pieces of what I did.
I'd like to see some of Troy's opinions.
Oh, some opinions. Oh. Well, let's see. I don't know if I'm shy. No,
Nick,
I'm not
what
shy
are some
about
of
giving
your
opinions.
resolutions for next year?
My resolution is to delete my Facebook.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. Why is that?
I've tried. I've tried, Chris.
It's hard.
I have deactivated it twice, and it was freeing. It was wonderful.
Why'd you go back?
God, I don't know.
Because there are 3 billion people on it, and he wants to stay in touch with
It's
them.
great for events, things doing around town.
How do you, as a
family,
writer,
friends.
then distribute your work every week? You can't leave it to the marketing managers of the magazine because
I like
That guy
my
sucks.
Twitter.
Okay, so Twitter is still a good avenue for you.
Yeah, I like Twitter. Facebook, I don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Okay, all right.
But it's going to take a while. I need to get all my pictures off. I mean, this is something.
We will not be deleting the
Like
Saturday
10
Evening Post Facebook page.
We will.
Anytime.
I'm gonna
No,
delete
we
that
will
too.
not.
23,000 likes. Get
That's
us
like
more.
half my job is working that damn page. So I think my resolution next year is pretty simple. I'll be a father, again, as we talked about in this show and other places next year. So I think if I can just be a somewhat decent dad between April and
Is that
December of next
measurable?
year. I don't. One, let's keep the baby happy and healthy. Like,
Okay.
let's not make the baby upset or make sure she doesn't get really sick or anything like that. So that's like, and I feel like I've got sort of a baseline of just let's not mess
Not
up
making
life.
your baby upset.
Yeah, let's just not mess up life for these,
That
for these
comes with
months.
companion resolutions of sleeping in my office with the door
Yes.
closed, and also not letting my coworkers see me cry.
Yes. Trying to sleep anywhere and everywhere I
These
possibly
are all
can.
pretty ambitious.
Once this
resolutions
baby
for me.
gets here. But the cool part is, you, as someone who watches this video every week or listens to the podcast every week, can follow along with us because we will be back next year in 2019 with your Saturday Evening Post Week in Review. And again, we made so many amazing, fun, awesome strides in 2018. I think that the three of us are part of it and moving this magazine sort of into the next generation and bringing new content, new stories. Each of you bring your own unique flavor to the magazine and to the website. And we're kind of shaking off that moniker of your grandmother or grandfather's magazine, and we kind of moved into a new stratosphere this year. I think.
That was beautiful.
I think.
Lovely.
Also,
Did
you
you write
should
that in
tell
advance?
us. You should tell us your resolution in the comments.
That is, yes, please comment on the video or email us or find us on Twitter. Where can we find you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter at Darwin Jr. with a Y.
At Troy Brownfield. Where can we find you on Facebook?
Not for long.
You can find me at Wakefield Report. You can find the post everywhere at Saturday Evening Post. And yes, send in your resolutions to us. What do you want to see out of us, the magazine, the website,
that's a good one.
in 2019? Tell us what you want from us. We are totally dependent on your support and your viewership and your listenership. So please send us in your questions and comments for next year. That's all we have for this year from Meadowsville Brewing. We will see you all next. I'm not going to do it. We'll see you all next week.
Oh, thank you.
We'll see you next year.
All right, to Jeff Nielsen.
To Jeff Nielsen.